Dragon Step's been organized this year at IFA to encourage innovative ideas that we could help move the animal protection move forward, animal protection movement go ahead in a much quicker, faster way with fresh new ideas of how we can help animals. You will now see 4 fantastic ideas being presented in 9 minutes only. And if you're trying to kind of sell an idea to somebody in 9 minutes, you know how hard that is. They will be presented with a cash prize that will be the seed money for implementing these ideas and at least starting to put a plan together for action. We have a panel of judges. I request you to come up. We've got a board. Dan and Jessica, the dragons who are going to be judging these contestants. The dragons themselves need no introduction during the conference. Equally qualified besides the dragons are the audience, because we all have the experience and we all know what it's like to try and put this innovative idea that we all have into action, and that's what's really hard about not just thinking creatively but actually putting your money where your mouth is. So we're going to actually have an audience vote. At the end of this session, you're going to be all presented with a sheet, and you can vote for whatever idea you want to see to win. You can also pledge money for any idea that you feel is worth kickstarting. That's obviously crowdsourcing. I'm now going to invite Rohit and Abhishek from Angel Eyes in Raksha to present their idea.
So without resources, we feel it's something that we wish to but might not be able to achieve. So this is why we need resources for the same. I would like to thank you all for bearing with us, for going through our idea. Thank you.
Could you tell me specifically what information you want the students to understand? You talked generally about the structure of it, but could you talk for 30 seconds or a minute about substantially, like what the substance of the message is? What types of animal issues you want to talk about, right? And just more substantively, what you want to convey to the students.
Okay, right. So basically, let's say if we link them to our Facebook pages or emails, then the issues that we're taking up, we have a 10-pointer program for schools, like feeding birds and animals, adoption of Indian dogs, not throwing your waste in a plastic. So these are 10 basic points we have formed. So what we do is we reinforce the points we already have at a session in the school. So we'll come in touch with them. So we need to reinforce it. So we'll keep on linking and posting on our Facebook pages, and since they are connecting to us, they'll keep on seeing it, and it gets reinforced. So like initially we approached, there's one school that we presented in. Students started to participate. With further reinforcement, their parents also started to come, and other students also started to come. So that way, it's keeping in touch with them. So
these issues are mainly covering animal welfare and animal rights. We try to focus on particular subjects, particular issues, and then specialize them with students. And for that particular thing, we do ground field activity as well, wherein students can participate and learn at the same time. Like in the PPT, we had shown the adoption campaign.
My question to you is, you would get 30,000 rupees as seed money for this, and you've shown some costs. You've also said that you'll be doing this for 5 years, and you also are covering, I think you have the number of the schools. What was the number? In Jaipur you said there are?
400 to 500 schools.
400 to 500 schools,
yes.
So, you get 30,000 rupees to do this. I mean, and then how would you sustain it? What would you do? I mean, would you raise some more money? Because what will your whole budget be?
See, this money would be, as I said earlier, there are 400 to 500 schools, but we are already doing education awareness program. This money would only be used for 10 to 15 schools, which could be underprivileged schools or maybe schools outside the city.
you already have a projector?
No, we don't have a projector.
How much does a projector cost?
Around about, I think 7,000 to 8,000.
Okay. Because what I'm trying to understand is that you are trying to tell me that this 30,000 rupees that you get is the only money you need to run this whole project. Is it?
Give me a minute. This money would be used as a startup, and we are trying to make this project sustainable and minimum funding. Already we are being made, so we'll try to generate some funds through the awareness programs we are doing.
How much money will you have to generate?
Yeah.
Exactly, as of now, we don't know the exact estimate at how much money we would need. But this, whatever money we get, we would step up the pedal. We would push the process. Like for this 30,000, we can have a paid volunteer we'll give stipend to and initiate the process further. For the events to come, like let's say we're planning a movie script, we had a movie screening and a pet adoption day. So we have donation process there as well. We ask for considerate donors who want to come forward and donate for the cause. So there's just a going on process that we keep on evolving because we haven't made an exact estimate as to how much money we would need for the 500 students.
I'm a bit confused as to what we'll do with 30,000 because your partner says that he would actually buy a projector to go to underprivileged school and you talk about giving stipend. The projector would normally cost 27,000 at least to buy if they want anything less than that. Even presuming that you were able to buy a projector for 7,000 rupees, you seem to be targeting underprivileged schools. Children in underprivileged schools don't buy pets from pet shops. They basically do interact with street animals. They don't consume a huge amount of meat. They don't do many of these things that maybe students from upper middle class schools would do. So does it even work to reach out to students in lower or underprivileged schools on these issues? What do you think, like I said, how do you assess what you want to do, and this is basically my question.
You see, we have lots of issues with school students. Firstly, we generally lack of focus on schools who do not have the infrastructure. As you said, maybe they are not consuming meat, but they are directly contributing. Maybe their parents are working in the leather industry. Maybe there is someone who is working in the poultry industry. Maybe there are a lot of people in a city where I am, Jaipur. Currently, majority of the small houses have kite flying festival. Lots of people fly kites over there. Majority of the households fly kites. So educating them with one particular thing, okay. Second, we have a big cow problem in Jaipur. Majority of the cows roam on the streets, have polythene, and the stakeholders are these people. We need to target these people because they are the main people who are the dairy owners, the small dairy owners. So main our target is that educating them. And the Abhishek
Also about assessing the impact. See, what we do is whenever we have an activity, so last activity we had 30 to 40 students coming from 4 schools that we invited. So 5 to 6 students from per school. So we are also able to measure that how many more students are coming with us and what is the level of involvement. So that is one of the impact assessment thing. And also we have the email ID, what is the response that we are getting to the emails.
Have you assessed what kind of internet access these children in underprivileged schools have? As in, if your major way to reach out to these kids is Facebook, do you have any baseline data to show how many of these school kids actually have internet access and how many of them actually have Facebook accounts and how many of them actually get onto Facebook on an everyday basis to interact? Because you seem to be wanting a projector to go and reach out to underprivileged schools and use Facebook as a medium to reach out. I'm not sure if these kids will have access to
space code.
See, Facebook is a very good medium, may not be very effective for the underprivileged students, but as I said, we have a sustainable Eco Club activity going on regularly, wherein schools from one school go to other schools, students from one school go to other school and educate the students, providing one of our good because are there over there. So that way, when we are doing the event, it is necessary to post it on Facebook so that we can get participating exchange program students. And also the word spreads.
Thanks for that. That's the end of the questions from the dragon. Does the audience have any questions for our contestants? Anybody? We've got all the question answered already. No? Okay, well, could everybody give them a big hand? I'd like to now invite Sarfaraz from ITA.
Good afternoon, everyone. And thank you, Fiapo, for giving me this opportunity to interact with you today. To present an idea which I'm not sure whether it's an innovative one or whether it's a very simple one, but somehow there is a bit of coordination problem among all of us, and that's why we have lost this idea somewhere in the process of this whole development in the animal welfare sector. What I'm going to talk about today is an idea of a national animal helpline. I mean, it is as simple as that. We all need to coordinate our efforts in the field to reach out to people and get people to reach out to us. But somehow, somewhere, we miss this. I mean, we all are actually a part of national helpline system. Yeah, I mean, every day, night out, we get these calls and, we are out in the field helping animals in whichever coordinating with other people's, other organizations. But somewhere down the line, we feel the need of a better coordinated effort. So what we are proposing today is a national helpline number, which is a toll-free number, and this is active 24/7. I mean, because animals can need you all the time. I mean, with our experience, PETA already runs a helpline. Whatever we can do from our end by the support of other organizations which are working a lot more than us in the field with our sister organization, Animal Rahat, and we do understand that there is a requirement of an animal emergency helpline number 24/7. So this helpline basically would be manned by professionals, and this information will be available to all of us to basically reach out to people. Why we are suggesting this is because we want to give an opportunity to the people to reach out to one single person or one single organization where they know that any need of animal health, animal welfare, animal right would be addressed. I mean, how that particular organization or PETA or any other organization would address that issue internally, that's for us to decide. But for general people, for masses, for a person who's walking down the road, if that person needs to address or help an animal, the person should be able to just call one number or send an email to just one email ID across the nation, and he or she should be able to receive that kind of help. The objective is basically very simple. We want to attend to all animal emergencies as early as possible without any delay. We want to have direct actions as much as possible, wherever possible, and with expert advice. I mean, we don't want someone sitting in the house and you receive a call and to the best of your understanding, you try to help people, you try to help the caller or people who might have sent an email, giving them as much as information. But we actually want to bring in experts, the panel of experts, people who can actually give you the right kind of advice. And for that, we need to have a lot more people signed up to this helpline number or to this whole idea. And definitely want indirect actions. We want people to be referred to the local people and local organizations which can actually help them out. Again, many a times we have observed that when we do receive these kind of calls with such a small team within PETA, it's very difficult to do follow-ups. So we want to ensure that for all these animal emergencies, all these reports, all the cruelty information which we receive, we definitely should be able to do a lot more follow-up and analyze and interpret this data. We want to have an online database, electronic database, wherein we can actually put in all this information, analyze it, and share it with other organizations, share it with Animal Welfare Board of India for a lot more policy advocacy. We basically want to show that there is so much demand, there is so much requirement out in the field, but with the examples, with our experiences of running this animal helpline, we can actually show that there is a big need, there is a big gap in demand and supply, and we need to definitely increase our services and have a lot more effort in reaching out to people. Again, the principles is about increasing public awareness. All will have this access to this helpline number. You all will be part of this helpline. So that's the idea. Again, this is nothing new which we need to do. We are already doing it in our own organizations in our smaller way. So it's just that we need to be a little more coordinated. Best use of local resources, because that's what we need to see. That if I'm sitting in Mumbai and I got a call from Guwahati, I need to know an organization which is part of this whole network in Guwahati, so that that organization can locally help, and immediate action is required in most of the cases. So they are able to address any such report. Again, we need to bring in all the organizations, all the stakeholders possible into this structure. Animal welfare organizations, SPCAs, AWOs, police department, wildlife department, vets, government vets, non-government vets. The setup, what we are proposing, it's 24/7 toll-free helpline number. We need to have a panel of experts, who can actually guide callers immediately on what necessary steps or actions needs to be taken. Again, a relevant information needs to be taken from the callers or people who have written over the emails, and that needs to go into your online database system. More importantly, to do the follow-up. Non-urgent queries, as I was talking about, needs to go to relevant authorities, relevant local organizations, so that they can eventually support this kind of I would say non-important but non-urgent matters, and people can, organizations can actually sort it out within their local area. Again, monthly reports to be collected, shared with all the organizations, more importantly with Animal Welfare Board of India, to basically, again, as in one of the sessions we were talking about that in animal welfare sector, there is a lack of data and information which is there, so we need to bring in a lot more information. And again, compiled information needs to be sent to AWPI. Then I think we try to divide this into 3 different categories: injured and sick animals. Basically, the person who's sitting on the helpline number needs to be a professional, needs to understand the nitty-gritties of animal welfare, animal cruelty, and needs to establish the nature and severity of the call or the issue. Prioritize animal emergencies and address them immediately without any delay, and advise the caller basically to be with the animal till the help arrives. Then what we are also saying that the network organizations actually need to commit to this. I mean, it's not that many times what we understand is there are organizations which are closed after 6 o'clock, and many times animal does not get the required support if we receive a call midnight and after working hours. So basically, we need to understand which organization works till which time and how best the help can be obtained in late hours or early morning hours especially. Follow up with the callers and put this information into the database. Again, the cases here it's slightly different. You need to have people with legal understanding in your system, and more importantly, you actually need to have the photographic, video, and detailed evidences, to basically follow up on these cases. These might not be as urgent as animal emergencies, but you need to have a lot more evidence to establish $1 to speak to appropriate authorities locally if there is an emergency and you are not physically present there, or your partner organization or network organization is not physically present in that area. Contact AWO, all.
Yes, you're right.
Yeah, this is utopia. My question is that this is a national helpline. So one, what will be the budget that is required? Because you say that this national helpline will cover the whole country. There will be how many ever takers, meaning you'll have lines and all that. And it will take calls, coordinate, forward them to NGOs, SPCAs, advise, consult, call back, feedback, right up to closure to everything, as far as on the telephone is concerned, and even collect photographic evidence and everything. So one, do you think it is feasible to do all these things together for one national helpline function, and two, what would the budget be for this helpline?
Alright, there are two things to it. The first thing, and that was the last part of my presentation, that PETA or no single organization on its own would be able to do this. So the point is, this has to be taken up by an organization which is an umbrella organization like FIACO or network of organizations. Coming back to your question, as you said that one organization needs to do all of it. No, I'm not suggesting that. What I'm suggesting is, it's the network of the organizations which need to coordinate basically. And anything which needs to be coordinated locally, the network of organization, because it's in the mandate of that particular organization to actually address animal cruelty or these kind of cases. So they need to come into this whole thing, and they need to be at times educated, they need to be motivated, and they need to be supported from one central organization or whosoever, wherever the secretariat is. The budget, definitely 30,000 is nothing for that, but what I am proposing for this 30,000 to be used as to basically build up this whole system, to coordinate a lot more information, to research, to basically, and what we are suggesting is companies like Vodafone, Airtel, under their CSR actually can sponsor helpline.
But sorry to interrupt, but when you thought of this, did you think of a figure or did you work out something? How much you think it would cost to run? I'm not talking about the seed money. I'm talking about how much do you think for a year it would run to cost the helpline of this?
I haven't worked out that number because it's a broad idea. And as of now, what we are working is on the broad idea that animal rights organizations should come together and take on this idea, and that 30,000 should be used for better coordination to collect all the information, to lobbying with government, with different organizations, to coordinate with the CSR links of Airtel, Vodafone, to sponsor these kind of helplines. And then, you need to work out, depending upon how many people are involved, then you actually have to go into specifics, and then work out the cost for running this kind of helpline for 1 year. What also we are proposing that, government should support it. I mean, it's not that the organization, animal welfare organization should be carrying it forever. You have helpline for children, you have helpline for women, why not for animals? So basically that's what the proposal is, that over the period of time, when you show through your information database with your experiences with the government actually should start funding it.
Okay, thanks. Now, you're going to, as I understand it, you're going to encourage everybody in India to call this line when they see animal abuse or animal cruelty or animal distress, right? There's 1.2 billion people in India, right? Let's say that half of them have cell phones, right? 600 million cell phones. Just making that up, but let's say. Now, let's say that 1 out of every 100 people make a call, right? And I think that may be a low estimate because you can walk down the streets of any Indian city almost, right? And see instances of, dogs that need help or bullocks pulling carts, right? Let's just say 1 out of 100 make a call, right? So that's 6 million calls a day. right? This national helpline might get, maybe more. How are you going to deal with 6 million calls a day? You might have to establish a call center in the United States, yeah?
That's actually a hypothetical question, and I mean, we are talking about the reality here. I mean, yes, I mean, you need to think from that perspective as well. But what I'm saying here is, we are already receiving these kind of calls. All organizations which are present here and not present in this room are already receiving these kind of lines. And I'm not saying that once you set up this helpline, everyone will start calling up this helpline. You know, people, if I'm not from animal rights background, I don't know if there is such a number exists, because you know, people will be educated over the time. So I would still be calling Apollo, or I would still be calling Jai Seva, you know, because I know them personally. I understand that they will be of immediate help. So it will happen over the period of time, and as demand increases, as people are more aware and educated, yes, you do need to broaden the scope of this helpline.
So you think it'll be able to deal with maybe 6 million calls a day?
I'm not saying that, and I'm not expecting 6 million calls.
You emphasize multiple times that this is already happening. Yeah. If it's already happening, why even go through this trouble of setting this whole 71? Isn't decentralization way better than having one national helpline? Should we just not have single numbers with different STD codes, and Bombay just picks Abode's office, and Thane picks Chakunda's office, and then Goa picks somewhere else? Why would you want to concentrate all the calls on one particular helpline and then get that particular person route the call back to Abode? Why can't you just, wouldn't it just be easier if you just had a simple one single number? So anywhere in India, just like just dial, you dial 44444, and the local telephone office just routes it to the nearest animal protection group. Why bring in, what's the kind of turnaround time are you looking at as an overloaded car in Ernakulam? Call which is in Bombay in the call center, what's the kind of turnaround time you're seeing? Don't you just think that this helpline is adding an additional layer of bureaucracy and red tape rather than just connecting the callers to the groups that are actually working? It should be much more simple.
I look at it from a different point of view, and because of our experience. Organizations which are state-based, I think for them it's much more easier to address these kind of emergencies. But when you are a national organization and you start receiving these kind of calls, what happens is you receive calls from different places and about different emergencies, cruelty cases, animals being abandoned and stuff like that. So you actually need to help them then and there. Now your question was, why adding a layer to this whole thing? Why I'm saying is because many a times, you know, when as PETA, you know that we are a lot more into advocacy and a lot more into right-based approach and not doing so much as some of the organizations out in the field. People actually call back. I mean, we give them information about local organizations, and people actually call us back saying that the office is closed and I don't know whom to approach. And many a times, I myself, all my team members actually make 10 different calls and finally reach to one organization where there's someone who can help the animal. So it's easier. I mean, it's easier to decentralize it, but sometimes, yes, you need to go that extra mile to ensure that the help is reached to the person or to the animal. Why I'm saying this, and you're saying about the turnaround times. Yes, as I said, the person who's sitting on that chair to take those calls or to respond to those emails need to understand, you know, if this is an emergency, this needs to be addressed immediately and work to the best of the efforts or best of the resources, whichever possible. I'm not saying that all the emergencies would be addressed adequately, but yes, this would be definitely a better coordinated effort. That's what I'm saying, and it will be improved over the period of time.
One last question is, you can answer yes or no. You mentioned helplines for children and women, etc. I'm sure you know about 1098 with the child line.
Yeah.
Have you studied that model?
Yes.
So how does that model work?
basically works with the local organizations. You know, government actually funds it to local organizations, and then there are other NGOs, you know, which again distributes this to other organizations which are more locally available. So that's what we are proposing. I mean, and that's generally the state-based. You know, it depends upon every state actually takes care of child.
But I don't think that is what you're proposing. You're proposing a national helpline. That helpline has, there's one number, but there is a whole model where there are different cities in the country which are connected and it automatically transfers. So you don't even, if you are calling from Bombay, from a local area, you get connected to the nearest childline helpline center through 1098. And then each center has has a agreement with different, say, a shelter for the children, say a counseling center for children, etc., etc. What you are proposing is not that. You're proposing a single helpline.
Yeah, and I have a reason for that. Why I said national helpline number to begin with and centrally coordinated effort, because you know, I personally feel that the awareness around animal rights is not as much as child rights. There are not as many organizations working in the field for animals as there are for children out in the field. And the most important point, I feel animal, and because of the awareness part, animal rights or animal welfare issues are much more complex and need specialized attention than the issues which revolve around children.
I need to ask this question. Just setting up this helpline is not going to change the fact that call somebody 10 times or this is closed. The chances of that means the driver is getting an accident or drunk. All of this seems like a grass-top approach, as in, yeah, people will call us and we will drop the door. Is there a plan to actually do anything grassroots? Who will this helpline go to call, say, in Bombay or Bangalore or even Philippines? As in, who will you call, if I'm calling from, let's say, Bangalore, and I'm saying, okay, there's this one particular dog in Girinagar that needs help, and he says, this is my PIN number. And if there is no system there, you don't have a grassroots approach, how would you actually work it? None of this actually solves the problem that there are active response on the ground.
This is only a part of the bigger problem. I'm not saying that this is going to solve all the problems which revolve around animal cruelty or animal emergencies. What I'm saying is, this will actually help general people to be more aware, to reach out to one organization or to reach out to one number. They will be more aware and they will be more proactive, because you know, we are saying it's toll free, it's one number all across. All organizations actually can promote it. They are eventually part of this whole system. So what I'm suggesting is, this is only a solution, a part solution. It is not going to turn around the whole of animal welfare community. But over the period of time, yes, technology is changing. We need to reach out to people in lot many different ways, and we need to work around that. But this is just the beginning and not the end. Any other questions?
Thank you very much. My question to you is an extension of what Gaurav had asked you. I mean, hypothetical situation. I mean, looking at it just from Blue Cross's perspective, we get about 350 calls a day, right? So we're looking at this on an entire country, we're looking at about 28 states, at least talking about thousands of cities, and just imagine, like, logistically, this is slightly impacted, right? Even if we go hypothetically, are going to be able to integrate all of this, the problem, do you think, is accessibility, or the fact that, you know, out of the 400 calls that we get, we're able to rescue only about 20 animals.
Yes, but
Is that really the problem at the grassroots level, and isn't that what we should be focusing on?
I think it's both. I think it's both for the simple reason, a lot many people are not aware. I mean, I do understand Blue Cross and other organizations are doing fantastic work, but in general, when you talk to people, a lot many of them are actually not aware. And they say, oh, I don't know if a dog was being hit by a car or any vehicle, I don't know who to approach. Yeah, who cares? But if all of us together are actually propagating for one central support system, I think there is a possibility that many people would be better aware and would approach the organizations. Now you're talking about the reach and helping out an animal out in the field. We would never be able to help each and every animal with this kind of logistics available with us, but we need to expand that. Over the period, we need to expand that, and that's what the whole idea is all about. Yeah.
One helpline number is great, right? For the awareness is up, everybody gets to know, okay, you will have a 4-digit or a number where you can ask for help for an animal. But you have to be coordinating with a number of, whole lot of other organizations locally to be able to get help. But many times it so happens that the other organization is not able to send you an ambulance or give the help at that point in time. So how do you propose to make sure that they are going to help you?
In the beginning of my presentation, what I said is we need to include everyone, all the stakeholders, and that's the best you can do. That's the best you can do. If there is no ambulance available, there is no ambulance available. But many a times, as an organization, you might not know often other alternative or other organizations which might be like 20 kilometers away from you. I'm not saying that that's the case. That might be the case. So what we are trying is, under the banner of FIA, under the banner of any other organizations, other different umbrella organizations, you need to, and that's why this 30,000 is important, and that's why conferences like these are important, and it needs to be taken up by an umbrella organization because they have a lot more information available in their kitty, in their database than any one of us. Maybe we are working in the sector for last 20-25 years, but if you see the database of FIAPO, if you see a database of any other umbrella organization, they have lots more information available than any one of us can actually have an access to.
Okay, then, much as we are tempted to say, isn't it more important to do grassroots outreach and local work, and this is a national helpline was the use. I really think we should pause and consider, because the 109, the child line, Makala Samaya Vani, as it's called in Karnataka, what this allows us to do is provide a standardized response, a certain kind of quality in terms of response, at least at the central level. And if there are organizations that are not responding to calls, for example, I've had that experience with NGOs in Bangalore. I call about an NGO job, they say they don't have plans, not available, etc. Who do I turn to? I think having a centralized system then provides for a little more accountability, a little more standardization of responses. I do think it is important, but in the context of everything else.
Thank you so much.
Any other questions?
I have two questions. One, actually, take any helpline, statistically, 50% of your calls will be false alarms. People just see a dog running around, it's a nuisance for them, they call you. Don't you think you'll be spending a lot more, wasting a lot more resources by pushing organizations to go behind these cases? That's one. Because if you have a centralized number, you get a lot more calls.
Let me respond to this first, otherwise I'll forget about this and ask the next question. See, what I said is, on that helpline, we are not going to make any labels sit there. We have to have someone who understands the issue, who actually can, make out the severity of the call. And you need to educate people. I mean, I'm not saying, even if I get 50 different calls saying that, there are dogs running around and they are being nuisance to public and stuff like that, whatever they want to say, it's your opportunity to educate them. And it's not only about, helping animals, but educating people, creating mass awareness also. Yes, you need to invest a lot more resources for that, those kind of calls, but yes, we do get the other day. So I think I think that's an investment, not wasting of resources.
Another question I have is, there are 100 organizations. Each organization has got different policies, intricately different. It's not drastically different, it's slightly different here and there. Some organizations have limited resources. You have no idea how
You know, it's not that, I mean, if I am running an organization and I don't want to be part of FIAPO, don't want to be part of PFA, don't want to network with PIDA, don't want to be part of any damn organization or any damn network, no one can do anything. So it's you willingly are going to be part of this whole system, and then you commit to it, and then you actually try and help any such situation to best of your resources and capacities.
Excellent. Thank you very much for that insight. Thanks a lot. Can I now invite Darshak to Prayas?
Very good afternoon, all superhumans present here. I am going to talk about my big idea in a very small time. Basically, this is an idea on, it isn't like, it's not about what to do, it's about how to do. Yeah. And I'll just share a brief history about why I am proposing this. I am from Gujarat, Surat, and we are crazy people. Gujarat and especially Surat grows crazy. All 25 lakh people goes crazy on a typical one day out of blue. And they just take up the terraces on 14th of Jan and they just start flying kites. And thousands of birds bleed to their hand on wires and all. And it's a lot of agony. So when we started Prayas, our first response was to take this war head on. So we floated a helpline number. And immediately what happened was that we were flooded with the calls. We were simply invaded. We were at war. I mean, in matter of 12 hours, on the first year, we received 100 calls a day on 12 hours, and we simply could not handle it. Right? So we were actually at war. We were totally slaughtered. And introspectively, actually, what happened was that from 6:45, without rushing, the person in the call center was starting receiving calls, and we were attending calls up to 2 a.m. in the night, right? Only 100 calls. So we really came out that we were simply not organized. And it's not that we did not have volunteers, we had enough volunteers, but what is the point when actually, a best of our climbers, a mountaineer who can rescue birds crawling up to 11 floors, that is not knowing that there is a bird hanging right beside the neighborhood, right? So we were not able to address that. So our control room failed. And that is how we decided to take this war head on. And being computer professionals, one of our Android superhuman proposed an idea that let's use our knowledge. So we come up on this idea of basic software that will help us, immediate response. So we wanted to catch all the calls, so we named it Call Catcher. The need was that bird rescue operation management in kite flying, that is like 2 or 3 days of Pearl Harbor. Need of the system was to handle over 300 rescue calls in 12 hours each day, and eventually over 1,200 calls in 5 days. To depute rescue volunteer in the shortest time possible. Create a team to match up the sheer numbers according to the location of the city, right? We have 200 square kilometers, and the rescue calls come from all corners, right? And over and above, to be on the top of the whole operation, to know that, whether we are delivering the promise we are making, we are living up to it, the promise we are making by floating the helpline. So our call catcher came into existence. It was simple software on a desktop we started, where we entered on the left panel where we enter the data of the rescue call, and on the right side we have volunteers to whom we used to assign the call, right? So this facilitated the rescue helpline people on speeding up the rescue calls taking. The success was immediate, right? The average time, next year in 2006, the average time of handling 1,200 calls in 4 days, 14, 15, 16, 17 of 2006, January, measured up to 3 minutes 20 seconds. Like from picking up a call and taking down all the information and passing on to it to the rescue person was 3 minutes 20 seconds. Average time of passing on the information to the team was 60 seconds. Like the software only suggested that this is the nearby person and this is the perfect person to call, and it is all mapped. Overall, average time to finish the rescue measured up to 14 minutes. Like it's in average time of 300 calls a day, we could finish up. I mean, the moment from we received the call to a person reaching there and arresting the blood flow and handling the pigeon and giving first aid was 40 minutes. And with only team of 3 or 4 persons in the control room working on 2-hour shift because we used to go crazy. People used to call like anything. So we did 2-hour shifts and over 250 volunteers in the field, right, with different skills and in the 200 square kilometers of the Surat city. So this is how it looks like a dashboard. Like this, we have area-wise call data where we have unassigned calls, running calls, finished calls, and total calls as per area. On the right panel, we have the resources. This is the need. Now, we know the resources as like volunteers. This many volunteers are in the field. This one we have, and total calls are there. And what is happened in the bottom? That is like what are the bird calls, animal calls, and how many of the rescued, how many were found dead, and how many flew away, like that. So it was a great asset to our bird rescue operation, and it was very well received by the city. So next, since we were at a war, we actually, we did not stop. We wanted to go ahead of it, and we sharpened the saw, and the vision continued because we knew that on next year we are going to get more calls because we responded very well. So the people are more expected to call the same number because ye log aate hain. Okay, so we gave it on a web page where more of us could handle the system same thing, right? The network our system. So here we have the interface for a helpline number. We have job properties like we can select the area, we can write down the address. Address is also very much structured. Like, you can write the society name, you can write the nearest common known place, the landmark, alright? And the category, the bird call, whether the bird is hanging, whether the bird is breeding, whether it's just down or whatever. Then the control trained person decides that okay, these are the rescue skills required based upon the call data. So whether the mountain skill or whether rescue fresh or just a normal person, whether it's a big bird, you need a 4-wheeler, all that is clicked on. And when the system suggests to volunteer, here is it, how we punch in the data. When we hit the suggest volunteer, the system will suggest a volunteer like this. This is a list of volunteers who are registered and trained over the year, waiting for 14 Jan to happen. And we have skills weighed against the distance of the person who is nearby and is suggested first. And if you want to, send in some more, some unique person, then you can type in just allow the person to call. And you can check the box and the system will assign. What do you mean by assign? So what happened was that there is a separate section of people who used to see on the net, okay, this is the call to be assigned to someone, so the person will call that person and say, okay, there is a call in, say, suppose near card. So that person will start. It was very important to reduce the time because the pigeons breed to death in a very short time. But it was very urgent for us to, send a team very early there. So this is how the key features were that system suggests volunteers. So anyone can walk into the control room and ask the system who to send. And the person knows, okay, I am alert enough to receive a call and anybody calls from there says, okay, there is a rescue call here. Okay, send me. And that fellow will start for the landmark and an SMS will follow to his mobile. We can track all the data, right? Huge collection data at the end. We can read our reports and analysis from. The main part is that this, bringing this onto internet gave us a great facility. So that now, next year, even Baroda organization and Ahmedabad organization are ready to jump in to use the same system, right? Like we do, right? So it was great. It is matched up by
It's the dragon's decision. So I was a letter player.
Yeah, okay. Only we didn't give the earlier guy a minute more, so. But you can just finish this guy.
Alright. the dream, the idea we propose here is that we integrate the system to SMS and connect this to the connectivity. And what we can do is that only volunteers can send in SMS to interact with the system, number one. Number two, volunteers can activate the activity themselves from the system, and they can also geo-update, right? We can make mobile applications so that system will know that this is it.
Yeah, right. We didn't get it. So this question may allow you to sort of finish your presentation. I understand how this is useful in your situation dealing with a lot of birds in a short period of time. But how do you see this being applicable to other animal organizations, or how is this going to be applied in general?
Thank you so much for the correct question. Because, anybody right now, say maybe Jaipur people can punch in a web address, log into our system, and access the same facility. They can map their own resources, area-wise, volunteers, and they can pick up their call data on their own helpline numbers, punch in, and the system will assist them, right? The database is centralized, so that if every city uses it, and the data will be available for all the experts and all the management experts to analyze, right? So it is now, we are proposing it on the internet, right? So Jaipur people can log in, or Bihar people can log in, Kerala people can log in. On their own organized setup, they have their helpline, but they are finding their ways, and they said that they are finding, they are not able to handle the calls. This system will ease the control room operation resources, matching need and resources easier. So we have taken up the internet, and that's already done. So what we are proposing with the next step is to interconnect this system with the connectivity, that is SMS, email, and it's very much possible. So all the organizations will be connected. I mean, these are the type of users can use this system readily. They can report the management rescue calls. They can advocacy campaign can be, simultaneously. If someone is only registered for human education, then if there is any need of human education, that fellow will get the alert, right? Training in capacity building, right? If I am signed up for training how to handle birds, and there is an organization who wants to have a training, so they just on the need page they just type in as a call that we need a bird trainer. I will get an alert in an SMS, I will follow it up, right? So it is all decentralized, and I can directly get in touch. We can have some expert interaction also. If I am struggling with the monkey problem in dogs in Surat, I'll just punch in, and Jack would be hearing it and saying it, okay, use iomatic, such the doors, and okay, it's all done.
I'm not understanding. Are you trying to have a helpline, software which is designed to help the organization better or are you trying to also do it for the whole country by saying that Jaipur can log on and so on?
Okay, it's simple. We are not suggesting any alternate helplines, number one. As we are doing in Surat, same will be done in Baroda. Same.
People can use this and replicate it.
Yeah.
But then you also said it has to log on to one central.
It's all internet. I mean, you punch in a website, you log in as your Google, as your Gmail, as your Hotmail, and you call catch it. But is it flexible? Because every organization systems are different. The most key feature is flexibility. You can design skills, you can design needs, right? Okay, Jaipur people may face dehydration problem a lot. So they can add that field of dehydration. And while entering, if they encounter dehydration problem, then okay, they will strike that.
And what is the cost of this?
Alright. The cost to take this to next level is 50,000 rupees for the year to upgrade the system. That is buying faster servers and database. And the or maybe a bit less can go into coordinating and communicating this system to all the organizations and making them hop in, trying to use it. Right? It's just another interface which we need to transfer. Right? The software, the big idea is because we have already done it. It's now just that it needs to be communicated to all the organizations that this is one another tool. It's just like how to catch a dog. It's how to catch a call. Right? So it's like that. I think 15,000 or 20,000 is enough for integrating all SMS, email to the server, and rest we can use it for actually coordinating this implementation of this, because we need to FIAPO maybe or as a agency coordinating this, we need to communicate to all around to let them know that this is happening and this is how we can use it. A short thing, I think that will incur some expense.
Okay, I don't run an animal organization. I know a lot of folks out there do. And I'm just curious whether in your experience, right, whether this sort of thing would be helpful. Maybe you just have, two folks in rescue vans and you're fine just with mobile phones and you don't need this sort of system. So if I could just quickly see a show of hands for people who run organizations who think this sort of program would be helpful. Okay, thank you.
Sorry, is it possible to build a revenue generation model into this app as well? Is it possible to build in a revenue generation model into this app as well?
Yeah, I have thought about that because after 1 year we are going to exhaust all the funds. So what we can do is that we can attach to LMS or online learning management system to it. We can have courses attached to this. I mean, those who sign up for, say, success modules on 3 days or online courses, right? It's just online course to solve skin problem in your dog. So that can be chargeable with some amount. So this can actually utilize maximum leverage of internet. It can be made into a paid version on a smaller part on the learning part, not only the facility. The facility is meant to be free. That's how people use it. So that can be integrated to generate revenue.
Okay. Thank you. Any questions from the audience?
I just want to thank everybody for the innovation of the ideas, and I have felt a little bit like the questions have been designed to put the presenter on their back foot a little bit. But I think it might be a creative approach from all of us to make suggestions that would say, that's interesting. I see that it could be tweaked in this way that would be positive. And one of the things that I think you've brought out, and all of the presenters have, are baseline systems that we put our imaginations in a positive way. We could say, okay, it's not going to take 6 million calls in a year or a day, but it is possible to adapt the system and figure it out. So when Dan asked if organizations felt the need for this, I think whether you have an organization or not, one of the applications of a tool like this would be identified exactly what you're saying is service gap. Let's say you need to know where are my volunteers located at any given time. I either have a rescue line, I don't have a rescue line in my organization, but I need to know, is there anybody on the ground that's going to be lost or within a kilometer? We can go look and see, is this a sleeping cow or is this a dead cow before we dispatch help to the site. And as you also mentioned, the application of human education opportunities. In other words, a tool like this, I can imagine, would be serviceable in an infinite variety of ways. Let's say there's a sudden vegan outreach opportunity emerges, and you look theoretically at a game plan like this and say, do I have a single person in that region that could rush out with some no, yes, later, but I think that flexibility is
I had another additional question. What is your background? You're a software guy?
I am basically a chemical engineer, and then I am a chemical engineer, and then I did my master's in computer science and applications.
And suppose I, as an organization, wants to buy, how much do you think it would cost? Meaning, I want to have a standalone kind of a software.
The leverage of funds of 30,000 that we are proposing here is up to, I think, 10 to 15 times.
10 to 15 times of 10
The system is basically customized ERP, enterprise resource planning. You map your needs against your resources, right? And end-to-end, right? A common man calling in to rescue a new person, introducing to the system, and ambulance van, all integrated. And on top of it, those who don't want to rescue, like we just want to monitor and capacity build, my partner who has built software, just like a friend, I asked him that if this had to be done with money, and he said that I would charge around 15 to 20 lakh rupees just for the software, basic software.
Thanks.
Any other questions?
One more here, just so I understand, just to make it clear here on the record. You wouldn't charge any of these animal organizations to use the software, would you?
The Baroda and Ahmedabad are already on the system free of cost. It is free of cost. Only thing would be that it will be, if integration into national level has to be made, it should be structured properly to devise all the needs as per the area, right? And it's customized for all organizations on their local needs. They can customize it, right? And they just need the central body just needs to, sort of just maintain it on monthly basis. I don't know whether it will incur a cost or not, but it is free. It's for the birds.
If I'm an animal welfare organization based out of Hyderabad, and if I need to use this system, geotag my ambulance volunteers across the city of Hyderabad, what would be the cost to the organization? That's the question.
Alright. Can I have you?
Also in the national system that you want us, what's the kind of data protection that you're building?
Those good servers with good security, right? And I think I don't know how other person would be benefited, not anyone, that if somebody is trying to steal the data, right? Okay, the only benefit would be like that they have more insight into the animal problems. That's better. I don't think so. The data security, we don't need to spend much on data security. We need to spend more on good service, faster service, right? So that if everybody is chipping in, I think that is a very basic. This is a very basic module for ERPs used wide over. All companies use this. And geotagging is that. Okay, here is it. Now these are classic. So maybe 2:45 p.m. scenario for 14 Jan. We have rescue calls mapped like with the red crosses, right? And with the integration that we want to do, even an SMS or mobile application over the internet on Android or iOS or Java, they can update their own position. It's like there is a field for home location against the volunteer or the ambulance, right? You would know actually this is a 108 concept, right? That's like what GPK used to map the resources, right? So in the integrated version, we'll have this all through process around all these red processes where we are. We can track it easily, very easily. Okay, it's just the cost to that minimal of KPs used by the volunteers mobile, 1,000 times more he uses on Facebook. Yeah?
Okay, if I need to go back to my trustees and say I need to install this system in my organization, right? I have 10 volunteers who can go and rescue dogs. I have 5 ambulances on the streets. How much would it cost me to get this?
everyone here will be having mobile phones. If you need to give them a mobile phone, that's all. Just for this session. There's nothing. This is already online. I mean, you can. It's online. I mean, you need to see on Facebook. You just check it anytime, anywhere, right? Depending on the position, on network or the GPS. So it's just an editing. It won't cost.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, jury members and colleagues from Animal Welfare all over India. This has been a great 3-day conference and I'll jump straight into my concept. My concept is called the mute court. By definition, it is not a technical court of justice, but essentially a place or a legal cell where people who have cruelty complaints to make against animals can come to. We've seen that there is a large number of cruelty cases, and the last 3 days have been spent various forms of, discussing various forms of cruelty to companion animals, working animals, draft animals, and also factory farming and so on. But when you go to, let's say, the High Court in Mumbai, where I stay, the judge who is presiding there on animal cases spends only 15 minutes in court every day. When I asked her why, she said that she has no animal cases that come to her. When we investigated further, we realized that people are afraid of due process, which is scattered, haphazard at best, and the low or the no level of outcome sort of puts them off. So the animal gets taken and acid case gets treated, but the culprit goes scot-free. What we will do is set up a room 5 days a week with a lawyer, a stenographist, and one pune, a computer. People can bring all their cruelty complaints, all their cruelty cases to us. We will be well versed with the animal laws. We will help them go through the entire documentation, prepare their templates, and put them in a position of being able to take that to the next level. Something our animals deserve, which is not happening. Otherwise, you will have shelters filling up on a daily basis and really no one being brought to justice. One of the lacunae in the system today is coordination. We as a legal cell will coordinate with the government bodies, we liaison with statutory institutions, maybe umbrella body like FIAPO. Some issues need national level cooperation. We will take those to the umbrella organizations and then have them work with us on it. So essentially this is going to be a one-stop shop for all your animal cruelty complaints. So you don't need to run from police station to lawyer to the high court to the lower courts. You just need to come to us and we'll fix it for you. We want to encourage people to speak up against cruelty to animals. We don't want them to sit back and go on Facebook and rant and rant about it. It's a little too much. Questions?
Yeah, it's a great concept, but one is that how will you actually, what would it cost to run this whole thing?
There's a budget in place and we have 2 lawyers who are on board who have been working with us out of their houses currently because we don't have like a single location for them to come to. So we have 2 pro bono lawyers. These are one is a senior advocate from the High Court and one is a
They'll be going around in a mobile unit
think that, and this is just an idea, instead of working with the state legal services authority, which has a budget for legal aid already, and they have huge legal aid cells in all courts across districts and talukas, wouldn't it just be more sustainable to work with them to have some lawyers who are trained in animal laws and ensure that we just keep training of animal laws to a bunch of lawyers, rather than creating this parallel system of legal aid in two places, one in Bombay, as in just this 3 lakh rupees a year can be used to train lawyers who already sit legally for us, as in why create this separate infrastructure rather than making the existing infrastructure more strong?
Thanks for the question. I'll answer that in bits. Without naming the NGO, there's a prominent NGO in Bombay. They're a few years old, and last year they handled maybe 300 or 400 cases, across rescues, adoptions, and so on. I asked them how many cruelty complaints they actually end up filing. They have maybe 60 volunteers across the city. They have 6 animal welfare officers on their team, and they only file 7 cruelty complaints. When in fact they actually attended almost 100 cruelty calls. These were exclusive cruelty calls where animals had been subjected or maimed. The reason for that was it's very time consuming. Most of the AWOs need either a police inspector to go with them, who also then needs sensitization, and that's a process by itself. Bombay XBC, and I'm talking for Bombay, Thane, and Raigad, Jaisama, and then I'm glad to take this to other places where I know citizens are afraid to approach authorities because of the bureaucratic loopholes and the amount of time and the number of locations you need to go to. From your taluka officer, you go to the DM. From the DM, you need to shunt you to the court. The court will then ask you to go back and get letters and evidence. If they bring all that to me, I'm asking them to be rest assured that this animal has a better chance at justice than he did if they wasted 7 years. That's pretty much what it's about. And we see a lot of reluctance on part of individuals, even like myself, who are working professionals and don't do animal welfare as a profession, of going to police stations at 2 a.m. in the morning. Because honestly, our policemen needs to step up to the table, and places like Bombay SPC have only 18 inspectors, and if I need to send them an email, and then I need to follow that up with 3 phone calls from someone special or a trustee or a best friend, and then have an animal missing justice 5 days later, then he's already dead and gone. And just like accidents, you have a golden hour, cruelty has a golden hour. You have 24 hours to catch the person, or go after the issue, and while it's still on. Once the time is lost, the matter is lost, and then it's on Facebook.
Tell me, as you say that Bombay gets a lot of cruelty cases.
Yes.
So with your 1, 2 officers and 2 lawyers, then would you be able to take in the quantum? Let me finish. Would you be able to take in the quantum of cases that come to you?
Absolutely. Once, let's say in the first month, I have only those, 8 or 10 cases or 20 or 30 cases coming in. Our lawyers will be working full time. They're not looking at a 9 to 11 structure. They're looking at a 9 to 9 office. And once I know that I have generated enough confidence among citizens to come forward with these complaints, I can actually then end up becoming a hand-holding device for them, where once they've taken the drafts and the templates from me, a lot of individuals are willing to go solo and pursue the complaint at the Supreme Court or the High Court level, but they need that initial push, they need the documentation, they need someone with, the technical, the legal know-how, which they don't get today. It's very difficult for an ordinary citizen to file a complaint and, see any sort of logical outcome in a swift way.
Great. So I'm just following up on Jason's question. I still don't understand why you need to create, as I understand it, and I'm not an Indian lawyer, like a separate legal aid society with, you know, the reporter, the lawyers, and everything, where that sort of infrastructure already exists in the legal aid societies. I mean, maybe you could just accompany them if they needed that, but I'm just still not understanding why you wouldn't just build on the capacity that already exists in
Jack,
existing
there is
legal
no
aid society.
single window to address animal cruelty in our country. Animal cruelty to animal is a sensitive subject which falls under a central law. Correct me if I'm wrong. There are states which would then have specific regulations pertaining to transportation rules and anything which is very, very specific to them, like animal sacrifices, ritualistic use of animals. But what we've seen over the last decades is that if I had to go to 7 windows to make a complaint, I have lost time. If I could come to one place and have all that fixed, legal aid is not available in India the way it's available in the US or in the UK. The system is there, but at best, it is highly time consuming and frustrating for people who are fought for time, and especially animals who don't have the luxury of time. Maybe I have or someone else in this room has, but clearly I have stepped back personally from making several cruelty complaints because I know that at the end of 3 weeks, I'll have either lost steam or been unable to help that many more animals which I would otherwise be able to. If I had someone who had helped me pick up from there and move it ahead, and I had still been a part of the process without actually having it there, it would have worked.
Don't you think 25,000 rupees per month is way under budget for this? We're having 2 full-time lawyers who are working 9 to 9.
Pro bono, and added pro bono, they're working free of cost. We want 2 full-time lawyers working free of cost.
Just doing this work on a case.
One is a semi-retired ex-advocate from this court, and one is a high court advocate. They have decided to lend their time and mind space to this effort. I think it's awesome.
And what if now somebody in Udaipur wants to have this? Then what happens?
If someone in another state wants to have it, we will be very glad. We will have a sort of sharing of...
But the pro bono lawyers may not be present there.
They can set up cells to address the situation.
You were lucky to find pro bono lawyers. They may not be at that level.
Well, that's something I won't be able to fix, correct?
So would the budget go up?
Would their budget go up? Well, it would be a guiding function of the kind of response they're expecting in that state, and the fees of lawyers which are taken would vary depending on which city or taluka or district or state they were in. Lawyers come in different prices.
Questions from the audience?
I haven't understood what is the difference
Yes,
in what you're saying. Are you setting up this court in order to help people figure out how they can take that issue to a main court? Which means, I am, for example, I want to make this complaint, I want to file something, but I'm scared, I don't know the ropes, I don't know what will happen. So is your setup to empower me to go and do it myself?
Yes, ma'am.
Or is your setup for me to bring the complaint to you and say, look, this is what I want done, but I don't have the time to do it, will you do it?
Both ways, we see more of
whichever project, and it doesn't have to be the same project as the Dragon Street, but whichever project you think should get whatever money you want to put in on, please do pledge it and hand the sheets over to Shilpa. We've only got about 5 minutes, so please hand sheets over to the volunteers around on the exit. Thank you.
Some of them, maybe this is not the right time to do it. A lot of work has to be done before we do it. But one particular idea that has come out as a winner is the technology solution provided by Prayas. And I invite Dr. Jack Lees. Dr. Jack Lees to come over and someone to Prayas, please. Jack Lees. It's coming as well. Just volunteer to work with Thane